for The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, welcome in. Thanks so much for being with us on The Frangie Show. Frank on vacation this week. He'll be back on Monday. I am Hayes Carline. Pleased to be alongside Hacker joining us again today. Great to see you. How you doing?
Hayes, I'm good, man. I've recovered from last night.
Yeah.
The most important game in United States men's soccer history, and that's what we got.
Yep. We will certainly get into that as the show progresses. JJ LaSelva is here. JJ, you doing all right today?
I am.
Good.
I watched a great World Cup match today that didn't involve the United States.
How about that? I mean, Argentina down 2-0, and they rally back to eliminate Egypt 3-2.
In the 80th minute.
Yeah, they were down. It was 3 goals in the final 13 and a half minutes, I saw, something like
Crazy.
that. Yeah, just unbelievable. But certainly we'll do a postmortem on the U.S. Soccer World Cup experience and sort of where does the program go from here. Hacker and JJ will give us some ideas on what we now need to do. You know, what are the lessons that you take from the humiliating 4-1 result, Belgium last night in Seattle? You're on your home soil. You've got a great crowd, and you get a gift from FIFA to allow one of your better players to participate in the game. And boy, it was a bludgeoning. So we'll touch on that as well. But I want to really start to focus now on football. Like, we're now close enough. It's now. You can kind of smell it in the air. The Jaguars open training camp in about 3 weeks later this month. And a month from today, all the college programs that we follow will be on the field practicing. So there's a couple of ideas that I had today. One that we'll do in our next segment. Who are the next stars? Like this coming football season, who are some players that you're planting your flag on that are going to have big years? Now, they don't necessarily have to be complete unknowns, and it doesn't have to necessarily be local teams. It can be anybody from around the nation, college football, NFL. But I think that'll be a lot of fun to kind of start projecting a little bit of the guys that maybe are ready to take that next step, whether that's good to great or just unknown to known. That'll be a lot of fun. We'll talk a little bit about the SEC and the Big Ten. I think they've given away their plan by how they have started to lobby Congress and try to tweak the legislation that Congress is working on to save college sports. So we'll touch on that. ESPN's Seth Wickersham did about the best profile that I've read in many years on Denver Broncos coach Sean Payton. This thing is a book. So I encourage you to read it, but we're going to save you some time and sort of I'm going to give you some of the notable things from the story. We'll get to that in about an hour, but some really riveting insight. Seth Wickersham was embedded with the Broncos throughout their entire playoff run, like literally 16-hour days with Sean Payton for weeks on end. So the access that he got and the information that he was able to gather in this is extraordinary. So lots of things I want to touch on from that I thought were really interesting. And at 5:15, we're going to do something that I think is going to be a fun exercise for today and throughout the week. We're going to break down week 1 of the NFL season. There are some tremendous matchups, but I also want us to pick the games. And this is why. Particularly in the AFC, September is a gauntlet for almost all of the contenders. So we're going to go through week 1 today, and we're going to pick winner or loser. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it, but I want to pick a winner or a loser, and we're going to do this each day because I think what you're going to see is by the time we get to the end of week 4, and that'll obviously be Friday's show, but by the time we get to the end of week 4, you're going to see, there's only so many wins to go around. You know, that's a trap that people tend to run into is, you know, when they do like projections for the upcoming year, you know, they'll have a number of games that the math doesn't line up. They've got too many teams winning like 11 games. Mm-hmm. So this will be a good, I think, exercise for us in looking at how September might shape up in the NFL. Really looking forward to that. So lots to get to coming up on the Frangie Show, but it's time to start really diving in and sinking our teeth into what should be an extraordinary football season that obviously will be, you know, underway in just a matter of weeks in terms of the Jaguars being out there on the practice field.
Yeah, the Jaguars on the practice field in a couple of weeks. SEC Media Days less than 2 weeks away. In fact, Media Days has already started. The Big 12
Yeah.
is the first conference that had Media Days today and tomorrow. So the Big 12 is kicking it off, the Big 10, the SEC, and the ACC to follow. And, you mentioned, obviously, the college guys, the NFL guys. How about the high school kids? High school football practice begins in 3 weeks as well.
That's amazing. And, I know XL Primetime will be at the ACC meetings, so that'll be very cool. Frank will be at the SEC meetings in Tampa for a few days, so that'll be really cool. So, we've got some incredible football coverage starting up this month. It was fun. Look, I enjoyed the NHL playoffs. I don't know hockey, but I enjoyed watching the conference finals and the Stanley Cup finals. I've enjoyed, the NBA. I enjoyed, when we started paying attention to like second round, but certainly the conference finals, the NBA finals, and the World Cup's been great. But I kind of feel like for the last month, I've sort of been out of my element. I don't pay a ton of attention to any of these sports. I've enjoyed it, watching it more as just like a fan. But I'm ready for football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to start really diving into it, and thankfully it's about here. But before we get to that, we do owe it to the U.S. and certainly soccer fans to talk about what happened last night, even though it's an unpleasant topic. So, JJ, you've been our guiding light on for the whole station in regards to the World Cup and soccer. And again, JJ has a weekly soccer podcast you need to check out and has been doing instant reactions for the U.S. And it was brilliant last night. We watched the first probably 15 minutes of it, and we thought it was very insightful.
JJ went an hour and 20 last
eventually
night.
We were like,
I was just going.
It was great though, because you do a great job of. It's very stream of consciousness, but you're able to keep. But you're able to keep like it seems like there is at least like you have a format, but it's also very freewheeling, which I like. So you do a great job with it.
Madness.
Yeah, and it comes across that way. So we both really enjoyed it. But let's start, JJ. Just obviously a disappointing result.
Yeah, absolutely. Like huge L. We expected it to be a lot closer. Me and Hack did pick Belgium to win. I always thought that they were the more talented team. You could see that last night. Just the first touch by every single Belgian player was so much better than ours. Their passing was perfect. They made zero mistakes. When they needed a finish, it was a perfect goal every time. And then the complete opposite from our boys. It seemed like every player, specifically in the first half, had a bad game. Like nobody looked good out there. I thought earlier in the game when he made a great save, I was like, wow, this is the first time that we've seen Freeze have to make a save all tournament, and he looked great. And then wouldn't you know it, in the second half, right when we started to sort of get things going, with the change at halftime with Reyna coming in the game, I felt like we had a little bit of momentum. And then just the biggest blunder ever by Freeze. I still don't know what he was doing. Maybe he doesn't trust his left foot. But then it was just one after another, like even with that mistake, Reem was in position to make the block. He tried something foolish that didn't work. Reem was responsible maybe for all three goals. So the players that we said before the tournament that were eventually going to bite us in the butt, that's exactly what happened. Our defense capitulated and our keeper. And thank God we won't be seeing either one of them in a U.S. uniform again.
Hacker, if Belgium and the U.S. played 10 times, do you think the U.S. wins a single game after watching last night?
No.
Are they that much further ahead of us?
They would win.
You think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I kind of feel like it was JV versus varsity.
That because we just were mentally like so terrible and giving the ball away. But outside of like 3 or 4 players, I'm telling you, it's not that huge of a difference. That's what was so pathetic about it. That was what was really pathetic about it.
So if we played Belgium 10 times...
7, they'd win 7.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But
so still a clear...
Yes. The odds makers were like basically putting it as a pick 'em. Sort of agree with that, but you could tell Belgium had a fire lit under them last night too. They were so up for it, man, and we weren't.
Which you were worried about.
Let me preface this. JJ does this every day with Champions League and stuff. I'm not. I'm an international soccer guy. United States, Gold Cup, Copa America, World Cup. That's where I am. I'm not really MLS, Champions League, all that. So having said that, I am just speaking for myself. I got caught up in the moment. they beat Paraguay and they beat Australia, and the Turkey game doesn't matter, and they beat Bosnia. And again, maybe I'm too much of a numbers guy, but when you go to the FIFA World Rankings, they did not beat a team that was ranked inside the top 20. Now, Paraguay had a great tournament. They knocked out Germany, and they gave France all they wanted. But the fact of the matter is Paraguay was the 41st ranked team coming in. Australia, I think, was in the mid-20s, and Bosnia was in the 60s. That Belgium team was in the top 10. That was the only top 20 team the United States played, and it was 4-1. And it could have been worse. Matt Freese made the best save he's made in the World Cup 50 seconds in, because Belgium, just to me, was the superior team. And here's the thing I'll say about the United States. The eye test says it's better. The group stage results say it's better. But at the end of the day, and I know they expanded the field this year to 48, so they did get a knockout win. But round of 16, that was where they exited in 2022. They exited in the round of 16 in 2014. They exited in the round of 16 in 2010. They did not even make the round of 16 in 2006, and they did get to the quarterfinals in 2002. That was 24 years ago. But 10, 14, and 22, our exit in 26 is the exact same as it was in those 3 prior World Cups. So results-wise, it has not improved. It looks better. It looks like they're better coached. It looks like there's better athletes out there, but it's another round of 16 exit. So I think that is kind of deflating in and of itself, that, man, it does look better, but the results say you're exiting at the exact same spot that you did for the last 20-plus years.
That is true, but it is better. I mean, they scored 11 goals. They scored 3 in the last World Cup. I mean, the most we've ever scored is 6. So we scored 11, almost double the most we've ever scored. We won 3 games in the World Cup. We've never done that before. We haven't even won a knockout game. I agree with your point about the Sweet 16 or the Group of 16, but we hadn't won a knockout game since 2002. We missed the World Cup 2 World Cups ago. Mm-hmm. Yes, last night was an embarrassment. Leaves a terrible taste in your mouth. But to me, I think that we are the best we've ever been, which is crazy to say after a result last night. But to be able to just look at, I feel like in a week when we can just cool down from last night, we can all agree that things are better than what they have been.
Great stuff. Well, we'll circle back to this. We're going to talk U.S. soccer at 5 o'clock. I want to, get you guys' thoughts on what next. Have we reached our ceiling? What's the future for Christian Pulisic? What would Spain have done to us? Like, your comments last night about him were dead on and hilarious, JJ. So we'll definitely get back to it around 5 o'clock. But when we come back on the Frangie Show, let's talk some football. Let's get it to the gridiron. Who are the next stars this football season, whether it's college, pro, maybe Hacker even has a high school guy here in mind. Love to hear that. Who are the next stars that will go from unknown to known or good to great? We'll do that next. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Knee deep in Duval.
Duval, Duval, Duval.
1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Duval.
Nobody likes feeling taken advantage of by a service company. That's why homeowners across Northeast Florida choose Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When we come to your home, our job is simple. Find the problem, fix the problem. Charge a fair price, no upselling, no scare tactics, no surprise recommendations designed to sell you more than you need. Quality work from a local team you can trust. Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Dailies, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Dailies, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Dailies. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Dailies is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Dailies. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Daly's is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Daly's. Daly's is made fresh, it's made local, and Daly's is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime Wednesdays around 1:35 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Who's MIA? Who's coming back? Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime Wednesdays at 1:35 on 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
Jeff Prosser here. When you need new windows or doors, you want high-end quality without the middleman markup, and that's why I'm telling you about Cash Building Material. Same premium materials, same beautiful finishes, but at a price that actually makes sense for your home. No subcontractors, no runaround, just their own experienced crews who treat your house like it's theirs. If you want it done right, the first time, get a quote today. Thank me tomorrow. For windows and doors, search Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Warmer weather, longer days, lighter meals, more time outside. Summer gives weight loss a head start. Awaken 180 gives you the plan to make it happen. Ride the momentum with Awaken 180, the official weight loss program of summer.
America's turning 250, and Superior Fence and Rail is celebrating in true red, white, and blue style. For a limited time, save $250 on your new fence. Give your home the freedom, security, and curb appeal it deserves. Celebrate America with a fence built to last. Offer valid on new contracts for 100 linear feet or more. Cannot be combined with other offers.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy Drink, designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus, straight from Dana White and AB, celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. What's better than beer? Cold beer. Put your company logo on a custom koozie. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all. Calling all artists. The Jaguars Game Day Poster Series is back, and we're looking for bold, original artists to bring the energy to game days at the bank. Submit your portfolio for a chance to showcase your talent and design a limited edition Jaguars Game Day poster. Don't miss out. Be part of Duval Designs by visiting jaguars.com/Duval Designs.
Retired U.S. Navy Commander Chris Valdivia from American Roll-On Roll-Off Carrier. The hardest transition isn't deployment, it's coming home. Be part of the solution at ONU's Mission Possible Gala, October 17th at Sawgrass Marriott. For information and to register, go to onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Welcome back to The Frangie Show. Frank on vacation. He'll be back on Monday, but Hacker kind enough to sit in with us Monday through Thursday. So day 2 for Hacker, which we certainly appreciate. JJ LaSelva is here. I'm Hayes Carline. Let's talk some football. College, high school, NFL. It's all on the table. The question that I have for you guys, and I'll lead us off since you guys haven't had a lot of time to prep for this. I'm curious, who are the next stars this football season? And it can be, again, it could be at any level, and it could be good player going to great player. It could be unknown player going to household name player. I'll kick us off. I think Dallas Wilson, the Florida receiver, is getting ready to become a household name in college football if he can stay healthy. Obviously, we didn't really see it much last year. Dallas Wilson really barely got on the field, only had 12 catches for 174 yards, 3 touchdowns, a very healthy 14.5-yard average. But again, most of that came in an upset win over Texas when the Billy Napier-led Gators beat Sark and Arch Manning 29-21 in Gainesville. Dallas Wilson, 6 catches for 111 yards, 2 touchdowns that afternoon. He battled through a foot injury that kept him out basically the whole year. I've been told that the foot injury that he has, it's like a birth condition, and it exists in the other foot too. But they have spent like the entire offseason cultivating like the perfect cleat and footwear to give that other foot the support it needs. So the one foot he's already broken, and they have fixed that. But they're doing everything they can to not have the other foot become an issue, from what I've been told. But Hacker,
that's scary.
It is. And I mean, you look at this kid, he's 6'3", 215.
Every time he touched the field last year, he was scary.
He looks like to me,
a monster.
He looks like T.O. used to look. Just incredibly big, fast, physical, born to play receiver. So look, I'm not saying I'm going way out on a limb here. I think we would all agree if Dallas Wilson can stay healthy, even if he can just play like 9 games for Florida, particularly in a much better offense, you would think, with Buster Faulkner calling the plays over Billy Napier. I think Dallas Wilson has a chance to have an exquisite year for Florida and to really make a push for all SEC honors.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Vernell Brown as well. Now, Vernell Brown made more of an impact his freshman year than Dallas Wilson did, but the idea of those two together has got to be a great thought for Gator fans. I'll give you one. It's along the same lines with the same team. If Dallas Wilson's going to be really good, that means Aaron Philo is going to have to be really good. Aaron Philo, we've talked a lot about Aaron Philo. Let's look at his career numbers at Georgia Tech. He started in 2 games. He played in 8 games total over the last 2 years. He's thrown for 938 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, and very, very limited action. If Florida can be what I believe they can be, which is an 8-4 or better team, and I think 8-4 is about right, that's where I would have them, which would be a massive upgrade, obviously, over 4-8. It's going to come down to Aaron Philo. I believe he is going to win the job. I'm rooting for Tramel Jones, but I believe ultimately Aaron Philo is going to be the guy. But we've talked an awful lot about this kid, Hayes, that, again, has thrown for less than 1,000 yards in his career, that has started 2 career games in college football. So he is going to need to emerge and emerge quickly. And with that comes the production from a Dallas Wilson and a Vernell Brown. So it's all going to work together.
Do you think Philo will do you think he's got a pretty significant lead on Tramel Jones?
I do. I think Tramel Jones, here's what I think. I think Aaron Philo was clearly the leader in the clubhouse going into spring. I think Tramel Jones might have complicated that a little bit by some of his play. But ultimately, I do think Aaron Philo is going to win the job. Look, you bring in Buster Faulkner. Buster Faulkner brings Aaron Philo with him to run his offense with about 4 or 5 other Georgia Tech guys, including, Strickland that we talk about. So the wide receiver. So I believe that it is going to be Aaron Philo. But again, I think many people think, well, Aaron Philo, he broke Trevor Lawrence's high school numbers in Georgia, a lot of them. He just hasn't really been given an opportunity yet. I believe he's going to be given that opportunity at Florida, and I believe he'll take it and run with it.
Yeah, Florida State, we were talking about this in the break. It's hard to pick someone for Florida State. And again, we don't necessarily have to go every local team, but you mentioned, if we're going to throw out Dallas Wilson, and it'd be nice to mention somebody from Florida State, but honestly, I can't think of it.
Probably Deuce Robinson.
Yeah, great player, but it feels like he's already kind of arrived. But yes, he might go from.
I'm just thinking of anybody.
Well, and that's it. I mean, he's the only established guy. I know they got a transfer running back from Texas that they're real excited about, but it's hard for this. I mean, I'm talking about somebody that really elevates. What about Miami? Who's like? Give us. I know they've got Tony. Tony is a star,
of course.
Tony's coming back, so Tony will be the focal point of the offense, and he's already one of the top 10 stars, maybe top 5 stars in college football. But does Miami have another guy?
Yeah. There's a guy named Joshua Moore who played a little bit last year, but he's going to be a true freshman this year. He popped, though. Every time you saw the field, he's going to be wearing number 3. Everybody, like all the players last year, when asked, like, who's the biggest freak athlete on the team, who's the fastest, whatever, they would all say this guy who was on the bench, Josh Moore. And now he's going, everything I heard about him in spring camp was like, they talk glowingly about him. And with Darian Mensah, who should be mentioned as well, I think he could even be talked about potentially with a Heisman.
Yeah, he was at Duke, so no one knows who he is.
Exactly. So he, with the offense we've seen with these transfer portal quarterbacks the last 2 years, they kind of just like come into Miami and work perfectly, like right away. So I would assume Mintz is going to fit in well there. And then he brought his teammate from Duke, Cooper Barkate, I believe, a white kid, really, really good wide receiver. And he's, I feel like, been around forever. I think he's a fifth-year senior maybe. I'm going to give you one that my favorite non-Miami player in all of college football, Cam Coleman.
Oh, yeah.
He went to Texas this year.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
And I can't wait to watch him with Arch. I mean, like, he was able to produce at Auburn with the worst quarterback situation in the history of man. So I can't wait to see him at Texas.
Yeah, that's a great call. Let's throw out some NFL names. I'll start with one that this would be more going from the good to great category. Everybody knows who Jaden Daniels is. He's a known commodity, very high pick, obviously had a huge year as a rookie with Washington. But it feels to me like he's been sort of cast aside this offseason because of the injury-plagued year that he had last year. He only started 7 games. Obviously his numbers were way down. But to me, Jaden Daniels is somebody, I think Jaden Daniels is going to finish in the top 3 of the MVP voting.
Wow.
I mean, I think he's getting ready to have a spectacular third year. I mean, this is a guy that as a rookie stepped in a difficult situation in Washington, threw for almost 3,600 yards, 25 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, was 7th in MVP voting. He also ran for like 800 and almost 891 yards and 6 touchdowns. Like, Washington doesn't have a great receiving core, particularly compared to some of the, certainly what Dallas has in that division. And really still even the Eagles minus A.J. Brown, Hurts definitely has better weapons than what Jaden Daniels has. But I think Jaden Daniels, the injuries last year took more of the momentum off of him nationally than should have happened. Like, he is a unbelievable player at the NFL level. I mean, he took Washington to the NFC Championship game as a rookie.
Yeah.
So if I'm planting my flag on a player at the NFL level that I think really has a chance to cement himself as a star, Jaden Daniels is where I would start.
You mentioned Jaden Daniels being forgotten. It's as if that entire Washington team was forgotten about. But as you mentioned, they were a half a football away. They gave Philadelphia a decent game in the first half of that NFC Championship game before it got away from them. Just plagued by injuries last year. I think Washington's a team to look out for. I agree with you. I'm going to keep it local. We know who this guy is. I don't know if, John Smith, NFL fan in Omaha, Nebraska, necessarily knows who this guy is. But I think they will as the year goes on, and that's Parker Washington.
Nice.
I think Parker Washington, I mean, again, and maybe I'm jaded here. I'm a big fan of Parker Washington, but if you go December and January last year and you blank out the names and you just look at the numbers of the last 4 to 5 regular season games, and even if you want to throw wild card weekend of the playoffs, statistically, there were not 10 wide receivers in the National Football League that were better than Parker Washington. And now he's coming into a contract year. We still don't have clarity on that as of right now. We all know how players perform in contract years. Look no further than Devin Lloyd and Travis Etienne a year ago. I think Parker Washington, a known commodity here in Jacksonville, is going to be a known commodity throughout the National Football League in 2026.
Yeah, hard to argue. It's a great point. It's what's going to be interesting there. Can any of the receivers really elevate to having those gaudy numbers where the nation takes notice? Now, it could if obviously you don't want injuries to occur, but if something were to happen to Jacoby Myers, BTJ, if they were to miss like 4 games each and Parker played in all 17, he would certainly have the targets needed to have that kind of year. And it is, it was an incredible close to his season last year. So I think it's a great pick. JJ, anybody in the NFL that you've got your eye on?
Yeah, there's a guy that I've expected to, it's not like he's a sleeper or anything, but I expect Bijan Robinson this year to absolutely explode. Yeah. I love the hire in Atlanta. I love all the pieces that they've put together on offense. So I've just been expecting him to be that number one guy in the NFL, and I think this is fine. I love watching him play. There was like, it might have been last year, the year before, but they had like this from the top of the dome camera angle for one of his runs, and how he was able to just totally break ankle after ankle from these defenders. I absolutely love watching him play. And I was thinking that Hack was going to say this with his local angle, and I thought he was going to go with Brenton Strange. And for me, that's the guy. I think he puts up bigger touchdown numbers this year. And, you know, everyone knows what that means. Touchdowns equal fantasy points, which equal the national media is going to talk about you a lot.
Yeah, I think, and that's what I thought he was going to go Strange too, which is interesting that you say that, because that's not Parker Washington, and Strange isn't my Jaguars guy, which again is another example for us of why this
They
season
have a lot of choice.
has a chance to be so captivating here in Jacksonville, because I think it's Bashal Tootin.
Oh, I
nice.
had another Jaguar guy I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Go elaborate on Tootin.
I just think, I know they signed Rodriguez, and he knows Liam's system, but I mean, he's been in the league 3 or 4 years. It's, to me, if he was a star, Washington would have seen it, I would guess. And so I don't think it's going to be this like De'Ami Brown thing where like last year the Jaguars thought, well, the Washington didn't know how to use De'Ami Brown until the playoffs, and he's going to come here and catch 85 passes. And look, he was a nice kid. I enjoyed interviewing him, but he just wasn't very good. I mean, he looked like he was going to be great in OTAs and training camp. I mean, he was the guy that Trevor was constantly targeting. But once they got into real football, he just wasn't much of a contributor. So I would be surprised if Chris Rodriguez is like unbelievable here. My guess is it will be more of I think he'll be probably better than De'Ami Brown was here, but I don't think he's going to end up, running for 650 yards.
It certainly hasn't been a good start.
Exactly. And and look, he is behind. I mean, we can sit here and say, well, he knows the system and things like that. You got to get used to running, with these linemen. You've got to get used to, he still has obviously all a training camp, but it didn't help that he lost the entire offseason program. And I really like Bashal Tootin's skill set. I mean, I like the way he's wired. Part of this is tapered somewhat because I also like LaQuinn Allen a lot, and think his role could really expand. But I think Tootin's speed, I think second year in the league, I think he's got a big year coming. So it's funny, I would go Bashal Tootin.
So you mentioned Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, Bashal Tootin. Let me give you one on the defensive side of the ball. Now, July of 2025, rewind the clock back 12 months. If I would have told you that Devin Lloyd was going to be second team All-Pro, you would have laughed me out of this radio studio.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what happened. Yeah. Contract year in the system, Devin Lloyd flourished. I think the guy that has the potential to be this year's Devin Lloyd is Antonio Johnson. Antonio Johnson, who I thought played really well towards the end of last year. I think he is a lock to be a starter in the secondary for Anthony Campanile. Again, contract year. Maybe I'm jaded because we're birthday bros. October 29th for me and Antonio Johnson. But I love what I've seen out of him in OTAs and minicamp. I think the jersey number helps a little bit. He's rocking the single digit now, is Antonio Johnson. I believe number 6, right? I just think Antonio Johnson could be poised for a Devin Lloyd-esque year, and he could make himself a lot of money next offseason.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent call. And isn't it funny, we've done this segment now for 15, 20 minutes. Travis Hunter hasn't come up, who certainly would qualify from an NFL. Everybody knows who Travis Hunter is. Obviously won the Heisman Trophy. But from an NFL level, will this be the year where he becomes one of the most extraordinary players in this league if he's able to be a number one corner and contribute on offense, which I think he can be. So again, the Jaguars have a lot of really up and coming young players that this could be their year where they announce themselves to the world. And certainly that'll be a lot of fun. When we come back on the Frangie Show, let's stick with football, but let's go back to the college realm because I think the Big Ten and SEC have tipped their hand at where they're headed over the next 10 years. I'll tell you what I think that is up next. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Frangie here. Nimnik Chevrolet is proud to be a 9-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award. Well, it's earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness, all part of Nimnik's Treating You Right guarantee. Now look, I've been buying my cars from Nimnik forever. That is a true story. I started in 1982 buying my cars from Billy Nimnik Jr., God rest his soul. He taught me how to buy a car, and I've been doing it ever since. I trust my friends at Nimnik. They care about the community. They care about their customers. They do it right. They've supported our charity, Walk Off Charity, so many times. I really do appreciate them. If you want to buy a car, you want to be treated right, not just when you buy the car, but after the sale as well. Well, that's what they do. They care about their customers. They care about this community, and they care about treating you right. So who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? That answer is simple. Nobody but Nimnik. Visit their showroom off Cassett or go to nimnikchevy.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
This is Hayes Carline for Harold & Harold. After an accident, everything can feel chaotic and stressful. You're dealing with insurance calls, medical appointments, car repairs, and for most people, it's stressful and unfamiliar territory. That's where Harold & Harold comes in. Their team knows how overwhelming this time can be, and they guide you through every step of the process so you're never left wondering what comes next. If you've been injured and need someone in your corner, call Harold & Harold at 251-1111.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party. Wait, is that Ronaldinho? Ronaldinho, you think Brazil will win it all this summer? Claro que sí.
Can I just say, you're my favorite player, ever.
Bet all of soccer's biggest matches this summer on Hard Rock Bet. And keep your cool in case you run into Ronaldinho. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and back your country. Roll with us. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
What if the next roof you put on your home was the last one? Not another replacement in 15 or 20 years, the last roof. Metlock Roofing is Florida's only manufacturer and installer of this exclusive roofing system. Engineered for strength, built for Florida weather, backed by a lifetime warranty. Imagine never needing another roof. Call 938-9933 or visit metlokroofing.com. Get your last roof today with Metlock. License number CCC 1335581.
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to make sure your property is ready. Weak, damaged, or overgrown trees can become a serious hazard when storms move in. Trust the experts at Lucas Tree Service with over 45 years of experience for professional tree trimming, removal, and storm preparation. Don't wait until a storm is on its way. Schedule your tree assessment today at lucastreeservice.com.
My name is Chris, and I'm a client of DexaFit Jacksonville. A scale only tells you your weight, but a DEXA scan shows you what's really happening inside your body. In just 5 minutes, I learned my body fat percentage, muscle mass, bone density, and visceral fat levels. Tracking those numbers helped me see real progress and stay motivated. Kelly and the entire team at DexaFit Jacksonville are knowledgeable, professional, and a great resource. Search DexaFit Jacksonville and schedule your scan today.
Hunting season in Northeast Florida is just around the corner, and Green Acres Sporting Goods has been serving Jacksonville hunters for over 55 years. And right now, you can lock in a summer deal on an AR-style 12-gauge shotgun for just $299. And while you're there, check out the largest archery pro shop in Northeast Florida and test shoot the newest bows by Hoyt and Matthews. Shop today at Green Acres Sporting Goods.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Nimnik Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941.
We certainly appreciate our friends at Nimnik. Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation. He'll be back on Monday, but we've got Hacker. We've got JJ LaSelva. I'm Hayes Carline. So I think the SEC and the Big Ten have pretty much given away their long-term plan because Congress, as you guys know, is trying to find some kind of legislation to provide stability in the sport with NIL, with the portal. You know, they're trying to create a stabilized situation, but it's got some things in there that the SEC and Big Ten don't like. And the thing, Hacker, that they don't like is they don't want to be told that they can't expand. And so they have really started to push back heavily on this legislation, almost to the point where you wonder, would the SEC and Big Ten just prefer to keep the system as is and be able to maintain that ability to further expand? But to me, they're laying out their long-term game plan, which is at some point, the Big Ten and the SEC are going to break away and do their own thing in college football.
Yeah, and we've heard that for a couple of years, and I'll be honest, I didn't believe it for a while, but then you stop and think, well, if I would have told you 10 years ago that players would be making millions of dollars and free agency is basically a part of college football where you can go from school A to school B to school C in a 2 or 3 year window, who's to say what's going to transpire in college athletics over the next 3, 4, 5 years? I do agree with you now. At some point, the SEC and the Big Ten are going to break away and form their own thing. Here's the interesting part is that most of the time they are in agreement with one another. I still think there is a disagreement fundamentally between the SEC and the Big Ten about the college football playoff expansion.
Without a doubt.
SEC has kind of dug their heels in about 16. The Big Ten wants 24. I know for whatever it's worth, not very much, but it's worth pointing out. The Big 12 is holding their media days today and tomorrow. They're all on board with the 24 teams, as the ACC is as well. The Big 12 announced today that they would have gotten 4 teams in to the playoff last year had it been a 24-team format. So it'll be very curious to see if the Big Ten and the SEC, the two that matter, with all due respect to the Big 12 and the ACC, if they can find some sort of common ground on that college football playoff expansion.
That's what I think is so fascinating about this entanglement, because the SEC and Big Ten are natural rivals, and they act that way. There was about a 6-month window where it seemed like they were in agreement when it was going to go to 16, and the Big Ten was like, well, the SEC needs to add a 9th game. Greg Sankey did that. SEC added a 9th conference game. Then it went back to being adversarial when the Big Ten was like, well, now we want it to be 24 teams in the playoff. So I do think there's some sticking points. Like, for one, I mean, who's going to run this league? Like, it can't be Petiti, and it probably can't be Sankey. You know, neither one is going to agree to letting the other be the, quote, commissioner of that league. So you'd have to go find a new leader that they both feel like can represent their interests as a league in totality. And so there's still a lot of layers to this, but you don't try and get these provisions taken out of this legislation unless this is what you're ultimately going to try and do. In 10 years, what conference is Florida State playing in?
So that's the question, is if you're not currently in the Big Ten or you're not currently in the Southeastern Conference, how are you going to infiltrate that if they're going to break away? I mean, Florida State is a great name, right? But if you're talking about television market size, and that's really what they want. Why did the SEC want Missouri? They didn't want Missouri for the fundamental aspect of Missouri Tiger football. They wanted Missouri because of St. Louis. It's the television market and the revenue that comes with that. Back to your Florida State question, I would think because of the name alone, that would serpentine the fact that they are in Tallahassee, Florida. I think they find their way into one of them. Is it the Big Ten? Is it the SEC? I don't know. But I think Florida State, Clemson, Miami, certainly maybe North Carolina, you're going to have teams in the ACC that are going to get out of there to join that super conference.
I would say it's the Big Ten. JJ, if you had to guess, where's Miami playing its conference games in 10 years?
Well, if they're going to join, it would just be one big conference. So I would say that a conference that doesn't exist yet. Like, if Miami is going to leave the Big Ten, the ACC in 10 years, I think it'll be for the, conglomerate that is the Big Ten and the SEC combined, whatever that will be called in the future. I think that's, like you said, that's the future. And there's going to be, like Hack said, 10 to 12, however many big programs that you can't have college football without, that will be, cherry picked and placed into this new mega conference.
Yeah.
And look, from the Southeastern Conference perspective, if you want to take it on the field, we all know it just means more, right? It hasn't meant more in the last 3 years because the Big Ten is the back-to-back-to-back national champion. And if you look at all these college football preseason magazines, Lindy's, Athlon, Phil Steele, ESPN Sporting News, you name it, not one of them not one of them has an SEC team as the number one team in the land entering the year. It's all Oregon or Ohio State,
Notre Dame,
Indiana, and Notre Dame. Notre Dame's obviously not in the Big Ten, but they're also not in the SEC. So it's a big year on the field for the Southeastern Conference. Look, we all believe in this part of the country, at least most of us, that the SEC is the king of college football. That has not been the case for the last 3 years, as the Big Ten has reigned supreme. And if they get a fourth one in a row, if it's Oregon or if it's Ohio State winning the title when all's said and done in 2026, at that point, I don't know how the SEC can refer to themselves as the best conference in the land.
Especially if it's Oregon, because at that point it will be four separate winners in 4 years, which is crazy. Like the SEC, even at their height, it was always like, you know, Bama, Georgia, and then LSU 1 year, you know.
That's what really separates it. When you start to have several teams winning the title, and if Oregon is able to do it, they would certainly add to that list. I've been surprised that the Big Ten has so much more money than even the SEC. Like the Big Ten is absolutely, we know their TV deal is bigger, and that's always kind of surprised me as well. But what's really shocked me is how the Big Ten, from a roster money standpoint,
NIL,
it's unlimited.
Well, that's how the gap is closed. That's why they've taken over the SEC's territory, is because NIL reigns supreme now. So these super athletes that maybe didn't want to play in 30-degree weather and deal with all that and go far away from home, well, a couple $100,000 or $1 million later, you're much more willing to do that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. When we come back on the Frangie Show, let's get back to the NFL. Seth Wickersham, a reporter for ESPN, did one of the best detailed stories of a head coach that I have ever read. It's on Denver Broncos coach Sean Payton. He was embedded with Payton for their entire playoff run, spending 16-hour days with the head coach, and there are some fascinating insights. We'll give that to you next here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's high-speed chaos. They make contact! Sunday at Echo Park Speedway.
Right into it! They crossed the line, and guess who wins the race?
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower, 1010XL.
Summertime is here, and that means it's grilling season. Now, before you overpay at the big box stores, make a stop at Houston's Meat Company on Main Street in Jacksonville. For more than 50 years, Houston's has been Jacksonville's local butcher shop, serving up quality meats, incredible prices, and the kind of service you just can't find at the grocery chain. Steaks, burgers, chicken, ribs, whatever's on the grill this weekend, Houston's has you covered. Shop local, grill better. Make Houston's Meat Company part of your weekend tradition.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Tailgaters parking is approaching sellout for this upcoming season. Permanent restrooms, all-day security, and on-site restaurant pavilion. Due to stadium construction, your previous parking may be gone. Log on to tailgatersparking.com today.
He's covered the NFL for over 3 decades.
I know this wonderful game called football.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco Thursday afternoons on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
Who are the CEOs making a real impact in Northeast Florida? I'm Liz Grebe, the events director for the Jacksonville Business Journal, and we are now accepting nominations for this year's Ultimate CEO Awards, where we recognize the top executives who are leading their companies and helping shape our region's future. If you know an outstanding CEO in Baker, Clay, Duval, Flagler, Nassau, Putnam, or St. Johns County, nominate them today. Nominations close July 20th. Visit jbjevents.com for details and help us recognize the leaders moving Northeast Florida forward.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service,
Instant Keys comes to you.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast orthopedic specialists performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast orthopedic specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast orthopedic specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on the Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. We've got Hacker, we've got JJ, I'm Hayes Carline. Frank on vacation, he'll be back on Monday. So ESPN releases this story today by Seth Wickersham, and it is extraordinary if you love the ins and outs of the NFL. So this reporter spent 16 hours every day with Sean Payton during their playoff run. And when I tell you it's going to take you 3 hours to read this. I mean, it's O'Halloran put it into his file just to see how long it was, and he texts us. It's 16,000 words. Just to give you an idea, a long story in a newspaper would be like 1,000 words. So this is literally like almost a novella, but it has got some fantastic insights into Sean Payton and how he coaches. And I just thought it'd be fun to share some of these with you. A couple are just general football things that Payton does that I thought was interesting. So Payton, at the end of every week in the NFL, he will review every touchdown that was scored, and he'll separate it
in the whole league.
And he'll separate it into 2 categories: player or play. If it's player, he discards it because it means basically a guy played above the X's and O's, scored a touchdown. If it's a play that he likes, he documents it and puts it in a file for use later, basically. So I thought that was really interesting. We know about Sean Payton as a man. I mean, he was suspended for Bountygate. He's been known to be quite prickly. Liam Cohen did not like him sharing that the Jaguars were in on the Vele trade last training camp, but we've heard it from other people that have been around Sean Payton.
He also had the small market little jab at the Jaguars.
Yep, absolutely. And even in the story, I'll give the reporter a lot of credit here because obviously he's close with Sean Payton to get this kind of access, but it's a fairly no-holds-barred. I mean, he doesn't sugarcoat it on Payton's personality when he calls out assistants and things like that, and even writes that Payton's volatility is accepted but exhausting in Denver's building with the people that work for him. So that was really interesting. Sean Payton keeps every room in the football building at 68 degrees because he read that that's where people are the most alert. So I thought that was really interesting as well as far as how he goes back to it. This has become an element today that is probably the biggest takeaway nationally from this piece, and it's that Sean Payton and Belichick are close because they both worked under Parcells. So Peyton and Belichick, when Belichick got divorced from the Patriots, Peyton considered going to Broncos ownership and saying, hire Belichick as head coach. I'll step back.
Wow.
And I'll just run the offense so that Belichick can get 15 wins and break Shula's record. He never went to Denver's owners with this, but he was considering it, which I thought was just amazingly interesting. And Wickersham says they just couldn't, Peyton knew they couldn't work out the logistics of it. But it was interesting that thought even entered his mind. Here is something. So Denver faces Buffalo in the playoffs, and Peyton regards Josh Allen to be the best quarterback in the NFL. So much so that they were going to run a fake punt on 4th and 11 backed up on their own side so that Josh Allen didn't get another crack to beat them. And the players at the line vetoed the call, which infuriated Peyton. But he said, I'm not going to put our season in the hands of having to stop Josh Allen. So I thought, that was, and this is what really separates, but this is what kind of a cutthroat league this is. The player that Peyton was targeting on the fake, he's the one that came up with the fake, not the Denver special teams coordinator. The player they were going to target, Peyton selected him because the player had missed a practice that week for the birth of his first child.
Savage.
And that's the guy Peyton was going after on the fake, and they got the look they wanted. But they ultimately punted. And then, so
now
Josh
that
Allen.
Is game planning right
isn't
there.
That incredible? So how that game ends, Josh Allen throws a bomb to Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks has it.
Yeah.
Initially.
Buffalo will still tell you he caught the ball.
Yeah, you might remember the play. So safety Jaquan McMillan takes the ball away from Cooks and gets credited with the interception. He comes to the sideline. Sean Payton, this is one of the greatest quotes I've ever seen in sports journalism. Sean Payton tells McMillan, best interception I've ever seen. I'm going to be in a nursing home eating applesauce one day. I'm going to forget your name, but I'm going to remember that play. I mean, if that isn't extraordinary, it's really well done. I thought this was interesting. Peyton told Wickersham the Chargers were the team he wanted to face the least in the postseason. Obviously, that didn't materialize. The Chargers got knocked out early.
They had already played them twice, being in the same division.
And it may have been that. It may have been. They didn't really go too far into the details as to why. So I kind of thought that, too. Maybe that's a familiarity thing. But I thought that was interesting that he had that level of respect for the Chargers.
You see like Michael Silver was given access to the Jaguar war room in the draft a couple of years ago. Now Seth Wickersham gets 16 hours with Sean Payton during the playoffs. Is that just the day and age we are now in the NFL? Because 15 years ago, 20 years ago, access like that for reporters would have never happened. Why do you think this is now the norm?
I don't really know, to be honest, if it is the norm, because, I mean, the Silver thing was probably 2 years ago. So to me, it kind of speaks to how you don't get this very often, in the fact that, like, because I would agree with you. That's one that would pop up in my head if you said, what's another story like this that you've read recently? I know, like, Jordan Rodriguez did a lot of deep dives on the McVay Rams and did some really good work there.
Listen, Sean Payton wants people to know that he is like a cool genius football coach guy.
But,
so he doesn't have an issue with any of this stuff.
But I will say, and Wickersham says pretty much everything was on the record. He says some things were not, but for the most part, everything was on the record. I wouldn't say this is a flattering piece, though, on Sean Payton. Now, certainly, it's far from a hatchet job. I would say it's a fair story. I mean, warts and all, certainly the genius is included. But there are instances that are brought up that don't portray Sean Payton in perhaps the best light as a family guy or is just a boss in general. But it's really worth reading if you love the NFL and the nuances of it. I couldn't recommend it more. The other couple just quick things about Sean Payton: he hates Goodell, so he told
don't we all?
Yeah, he basically because of Bountygate and I'm sure other things. But like he says in this that he will not retire. He is determined to outlast Goodell. So he is not going to retire until Goodell has stepped down as commissioner because he wants to outlast him in this league. And Sean Payton probably should be pretty confident that he's going to be able to make that decision. I didn't realize this. This is pretty extraordinary. Sean Payton has worked in the NFL for nearly 30 years. He has never been fired, whether as an assistant or a head coach. And obviously won a Super Bowl with the Saints, but has never been fired in 30 years in the NFL, which is extraordinary.
He'll probably find his way in Canton, Ohio one day.
Oh, yeah.
I would Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Particularly if he leads Denver to another title. Then I would think he's pretty much cemented. But, yeah, he'll have a great chance. They talk about it. He's, the touchdowns he scored with the Saints, I want to say it's like 807, far more than in any other coach in that span. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's going to have a good case, particularly if he gets another one. But we've seen it. It's tough with the coaches. I mean, Coughlin, and there's a long, there's a log jam there.
I do wonder if Bountygate works against him.
Yeah, and it will. Yeah, there'll certainly be voters that hold that against him, even though it was from this, it portrays it like it wasn't his idea. It was Greg Williams' idea, but he did participate in covering it up, which obviously he got suspended for a year.
And if you remember the quotes and the audio and stuff, you could tell Greg Williams, I'm not shocked that he was the one in charge of that. He was loving it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So anyway, give this a read if you, again, you'll really learn a lot about just how these coaches work. It's incredible. So that was a lot of fun. We come back on the Frangie Show. Let's get it back to the World Cup and U.S. soccer. Let's do a full postmortem. What now? The U.S. soccer run is over. Humiliating loss to Belgium last night, 4-1 in Seattle. What now becomes of this program? What should happen? JJ and Hacker will give us their insights. You're listening to the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This could be the piebald syndrome. The piebald syndrome is when the metal in your mouth collects radio signals.
You're kidding.
It happens quite often, but usually with
1010XL.
It's Christmas in July at Beard's Diamonds. Why not celebrate your anniversary with a stunning eternity band or a pair of diamond stud earrings? Buy now and get up to 40% off. Don't miss this annual event. Best prices of the year store-wide. And remember, Beard's Diamonds is your local jeweler with over 4 decades of delivering the best value, the best quality, and the best overall experience. With no commission salespeople, no corporate sales quotas, and no nonsense pricing. Beard's Diamonds at the shops at Town Center. Shop local. Shop Beard's.
Looking for ways to save on your JEA bill? We're on it. When it comes to your utilities, the less you use, the more you can save. That's why JEA offers ways to help you manage your usage and avoid higher than expected bills. Use our online tools to monitor your usage throughout the month. Schedule a free irrigation or energy efficiency assessment and get personalized tips to save. And with JEA rebates, you can save when upgrading to more efficient equipment. Find more ways to save at JEA.com.
When you want to know what's happening in Gainesville, roll with the Gator Report. I'm Joe C. Listen for updates on Florida Gator athletics several times a week on 1010XL. Built by Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
Go, Gator! Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, JohnAutomotiveJacks.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Celebrate America's 250th anniversary with Renewal by Andersen and get $250 off every window and door. Plus, 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. With Renewal by Andersen, you're getting American craftsmanship, expert installation, and signature service. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com. That's bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free design consultation. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Soccer fans, Michelob Ultra is going to pay somebody $90,000 to go to the FIFA World Cup 2026 final and bring the Superior Player of the Match trophy. Yes, I'm being serious right now. It's got some weight to it. This is the real thing, people. Michelob Ultra, $90,000. FIFA World Cup 2026 final. You watch the match, you get the honor of carrying the Superior Player of the Match trophy. That's a soccer fan's dream come true.
Enjoy the beautiful game with a cold Michelob Ultra, the official beer of World Cup 2026.
I've spent 20 plus years around scoreboards, and here's what they don't tell you. Every number up there is somebody's story. So when I heard a number last week, I had to sit with it. Hacker here, Paige from Awaken 180 told me their clients just lost 1 million pounds. 1 million. That stopped me cold because I know exactly what my 120 was worth. Moving better, feeling better, down from over 300. Now multiply that feeling. My 120 is stacked in there with somebody's first 10. Somebody's knee that finally quit barking. Somebody stepping on a scale this morning and pumping their fist in an empty bathroom thanks to Awaken 180. That's not a stat. That's a whole stadium's worth of hometown wins. The scoreboard's still running. A doable program, a plan built specifically for you, coaching that adjusts as you go, and free support for life. 1 million pounds down and counting. The next win should be yours. Awaken 180weightloss.com.
There's a lot happening at Cycles of Jacksonville. Tell them about it, Greg.
It's summertime and it's time to ride. We continue to roll through our demo days. We've got yet another one coming up. Sully's going to fill you in on all the details, but you're going to want to be here to ride a Triumph.
Yes, we have Triumph Roadster Demo Day, June 19th and 20th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You do not want to miss this one. Come on down to Cycles of Jacksonville.
We are your place to be, especially if you want to ride. Everybody's always smiling when they get off those demos.
Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency. CyclesofJacksonville.com.
I'm Jared Justice with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. Baylor coach Dave Aranda described former Gator quarterback DJ Lagway's time at Florida as being in a straitjacket at the open of Big 12 Media Days. Coach Aranda then went on to say he would be more free. FSU has picked up a transfer from the Gamecocks as right-handed pitcher Alex Philpott has joined Coach Jarrett's roster. It's 89 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Aaron Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation. He will be back with us on Monday. I'm Hayes Carline. Please be joined with Hacker and JJ. All right, let's talk U.S. soccer. Success or failure? Let's start there. I mean, I feel like from a novice standpoint, I think it was still a success, barely. But what do you guys think? Hacker, lead us off.
I mean, it was not a failure. A failure would have been not getting out of the group stage. That would have been a disaster. So from that standpoint, I don't think you can call it a failure. I don't know if you can call it a success. I hear what JJ's saying. They scored a lot of goals. They won 3 games. The bottom line is they beat 3 teams that they should have beat. Now, that hasn't always happened in years past. They have gotten upset and played down to their competition. So, yes, they did win 3 games. But there is no doubt they were supposed to win all 3 of those games. The toughest opponent they played absolutely took them behind the woodshed last night in Belgium. And again, it's another round of 16 exit. Now, I understand the tournament expanded to 48, so they did get another knockout win, only their second knockout win in World Cup history, and that's wonderful. But 2018, they didn't even make the field. If you go back to the last 20-plus years of the World Cup, 2010, round of 16 exit. 2014, round of 16 exit to Belgium. And by the way, that was only 2-1 in 2014. It took Belgium extra time to beat them. 2022, round of 16 exit. And now here we are, 2026, a round of 16 exit. So not a failure. I think most people will say it's a success because I do agree a lot of goals were scored. They won 3 games. But, man, there is a tier. And when they get to those European powers, when you get to the Belgiums or the Germanys or whomever, like Germany in 2002 that beat them, they just can't seem to break through that right now.
Yeah, Netherlands last time was another one. I'm with Hack. I think we should call it par because it's really hard to say it was I think the tournament in America has been a massive success. So I have to put that to the side when we're talking about our national team. Our national team, I would say it's a par. I said it before the tournament. If we don't get out of the group and win at least one game, it's a failure. We did all that. I thought our style of play, to me, in my opinion, is why I will probably look back fondly on this tournament, because I've never seen us play like that. Like usually our style is defend, 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 because we don't have as much talent. Try to get a 1-0. Try to win that game against Turkey or Iran at the end of the group stage in 2022 to just barely get through. Like we always seem to be like living right on the edge. So to beat Paraguay 4-1, thumping like that, to pretty much thump Australia like that, and if we would have had all 11 men, I think we would have killed Bosnia too. Like, it just looks different. I've never seen us play like this. So for me, I'll probably look back fondly on this tournament. But yeah, I'd call it a par.
So are you optimistic moving forward?
Very.
Okay.
Especially if we have Poch left. Like, if Pochettino decides to come back through the 2030 cycle, that would really send me over the moon when it comes to like the excitement level for the team. But I know that we have like a massive amount of 17 to 20-year-olds that are in the pipeline coming through, like people that know a lot more about the youth in our system than I do, have all been saying, hey, this is the best we've ever been as a country when it comes to the youth coming up and just the overall talent. So, yeah, I am very optimistic. We still have a lot of young guys on a team. I thought, in particular, Freeman, who's 21, was like one of our most impressive players. He was not good last night. He was terrible last night, but they all were. So to me, like, yeah, I am really excited about the future. Even though last night, man, it's gonna be a while till I get that taste out of my mouth from last night.
And not to get too far ahead of the calendar, but next summer is the Gold Cup. And that, to me, is going to be interesting because that's CONCACAF. That'll be Mexico, Canada, Panama, basically all the teams that were in the World Cup this year you would expect to make a decent run in the Gold Cup, which includes the United States. And it'll be curious to see how far we've come, because a couple of Gold Cups in a row now, they haven't fared very well.
And they haven't even had the starters play.
Right.
Remember, they all decided to just sit out last year because they wanted to get, heal up over the summer to get ready for the World Cup. That's what Pulisic said. And then he did nothing in the World Cup.
Yeah,
so you sat out this tournament a year in advance for nothing, dude.
So go ahead. Obviously, he was the star coming in. We see him on all the commercials. What can you count on him moving forward?
No, because, I mean, look, he's going to be 31 in the next World Cup. Is he going to be past his prime? Maybe. I don't know. 31 is not ancient, but it's also not 25.
And he's always hurt.
He got hurt last night.
He's going to still be an important player for us. But if he's still, at that point in time, our, quote, star player, we're in trouble.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he is not a leader. He's always hurt. In the biggest of moments, he always lays an egg, and that's club and country. And last night, the first 45 minutes, to basically go 0 for 11 on dribbles, like trying to beat your man, 11 giveaways, and they were all in dangerous positions, put our defense in a really tough position. Like, it was really, really, really bad. And we were talking a week before the game about, or leading up to the game, about how we needed Pulisic to really step up in this game to win. And it's like, not only did he not do that, he was the worst player on the pitch. It was crazy.
And the tough thing now is that, again, we're talking 4 years down the road, but the next World Cup, a majority of that World Cup is going to be played in Europe. That's being split between, like, Portugal is involved, Spain's involved. So any of those European countries, that's going to be their home turf. We're going to go into their house, like Belgium came into our house last night. I mean, the support in this tournament was unbelievable. It'll be something I'll remember for a long time. It was great. Like JJ said, the World Cup here. And by the way, it's not over.
Oh, yeah.
The quarterfinals, the semis,
the game
the finals.
today was insane.
Yeah, Argentina was this game. Colombia, Switzerland. Looks like it's going to be pretty good. I'm still excited about the next week and a half, 2 weeks of soccer, but having to go to Europe in the next cycle to play over there in the World Cup, that is not going to be an easy thing to do.
I'll give you the next real tournament to really pay attention to. By the way, the team gets back together in early September. But The next big tournament's going to be the Copa America, which is all the South American teams like, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, real killers.
Is that before the Gold Cup?
It's 28.
Okay.
So it's the year after.
So you don't care about the Gold Cup next year?
Not really, because, I mean, I'm going to be watching all the games because I want to see these young guys get integrated into the squad. To me, that's really important. We need to get this next generation, like these September 21st games, we need a lot. I don't even want to see Pulisic for like a year, honestly. I want to get these young guys integrated. We know what Pulisic is, so let's just, him and McKinney, we don't need to see him for a while. So the next big tournament is 2028, and that's probably going to be in America, and it's with all the South American teams. And unfortunately, last time when we played in it, we got like a really dumb red card, Timothy Weah, in the last game, and got us kicked out. But I think at that point in time, if we still have Pochettino, we could go far in that tournament, maybe even win it.
All right, great. So when do you think we'll have a decision from Pochettino?
I thought it would be honestly like today, because we've been seeing, whether it be Brazil or the Netherlands or yesterday with Portugal, the decision's made almost immediately on what's going to happen with the manager. But then last night, he said something about, we're going to take a few weeks to think about it. So, yeah.
So we may be waiting a while.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. When we come back on the Frangie Show, you guys ready for week 1 of the NFL season?
I'm
you ready
very
to talk
ready
about
for
that?
it.
We are going to pick every game for NFL Week 1. Some fantastic matchups. We'll give that to you next. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
I'm not here to do whatever this is. What is this?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
What is this? Come on, man. This is entertainment.
The Drill.
You'll get it.
Mornings on 1010XL. This World Cup soccer update is laced up by Valvoline Instant Oil Changes and Houston's Meats.
Westwood One Sports presents this World Soccer Update. I'm Erica Herskowitz. There's just one spot left in the quarterfinals as the round of 16 winds down in Vancouver, with Switzerland and Colombia battling it out in a match between a couple of highly defensive, low-scoring squads. And this match is living up to that hype. Colombia's only given up 1 goal in 4 matches, Switzerland 3. And right now at the half, Switzerland and Colombia are scoreless. The Swiss are playing without star midfielder Johan Manzambi, who's sidelined with a knee injury. Manzambi has 3 goals and 2 assists in Switzerland's first 4 World Cup matches. The winner advances to play Argentina in the final 8, and they say 2-0 is the toughest lead to hold in soccer. Well, today, Egypt learned that the hard way. Argentina mounted an epic comeback, scoring 3 goals in a span of 13 minutes, 15 seconds, including a game winner from Enzo Fernandez in stoppage time to stun the Pharaohs 3-2. I'm Erica Herskowitz, Westwood One Sports.
Need to sell your house fast? Whether you're facing foreclosure, stuck with bad tenants, or just ready for a fresh start, House Buyer Network can help. We buy homes as is for cash. No fees, no commissions, no repairs. Get a fair cash offer in just 24 hours and close in as little as 7 days. Call 833-719-5877 now for your free no-obligation offer. That's 833-719-5877. House Buyer Network. Fast cash, no hassle.
Offers are typically below market value in exchange for speed and convenience. Call for details.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Celebrate the month of July with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 and take $75 off air duct cleaning as well. Hickett here. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com. Take advantage of the savings.
Frank Frangie here from my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
If you only knew what oh no.
Tell me something I don't know.
Catch the man who knows Jacksonville football. John Osher. Weekdays on 1010XL. Served up by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft.
Joint replacement surgery is always a tough decision, but relief from chronic pain may be just around the corner. Dr. George Barra here, and there's a lot to consider to make sure you get the proper diagnosis and best path back to the range of motion and mobility you had. Age, lifestyle, and overall health all play a part. Let the team at Barra Orthopedics give you a full analysis to help you make the best decision. Log on to barriorthopedics.com or call the office to make an appointment. With offices across Jacksonville and ready to help you feel good again, we'll get you back on the road to recovery at Barra Orthopedics.
Southwest Greens is the OG of artificial turf in North Florida. Stop mowing and start chipping or putting or just relaxing with a beautiful backyard, maintenance free. Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Checkmate. I'm Braden Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the Checkmate King.
The two most important factors behind a great garage floor coating are the preparation and the application.
So we prepare every floor with high-performance diamond grinding pads. But just ugly diamonds, right, Brendan? If we find any nice ones, I could use some crown jewels.
Sorry, Chester. Our special grinding pads use diamonds that are too ugly for jewelry.
But they create the perfect surface to bind with our multi-layer polymer coating for years of durable performance.
You'll have to pick out jewelry on your own time, Your Highness.
The term is Your Majesty, Brendan, but I'll let it go this time.
Perfect preparation?
Check. Expert application?
Check. A gorgeous new floor that sparkles like a diamond in your garage? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World,
simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Nimnik Tuesday on the Frangie Show. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Always a great music choice, Van Halen's Jump. I am certainly excited because football season is almost here. The Jaguars will be on the field in a matter of just a few weeks. Training camp opens this month. But Hacker, let's peek ahead to week one. We're going to pick the winner of what I think is one of the best week one slates that we've ever gotten to. And the reason that we're doing this, we're going to do it again tomorrow with week two. We're going to do it again Thursday with week three. And then on the lead Friday, O'Halloran and I will do it for week four. What I want to point out is there's only so many victories to go around. And the NFL schedule makers have loaded up September with some heavyweight matchups. So we're going to pick the games. At the end of it, it's going to be fun to see, what our predictions led to in terms of the holes or the great position some of these contenders will be in. So let's start. The NFL season begins Wednesday night, September 9th.
That still sounds weird. Wednesday night.
It does. But hey, it's one day earlier.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Wednesday, September 9th, New England goes to Seattle. in a Super Bowl rematch. So what we'll do here is, Hacker, you pick, JJ, you pick, and if it's tied, then I'll pick. So, Hacker, who do you like? New England at Seattle.
Well, I love the fact that it's a Super Bowl rematch, but you're talking about opening night, New England flying across the country. That'll be a hornet's nest. Give me Seattle.
JJ?
Will Tim Ream and Matt Freese be on the field in Seattle? I like Seattle, especially at home. That crowd's going to be crazy.
All right. The Patriots 0-1.
Although I do think the Patriots are getting a lot of hate this offseason. I think that A.J. Brown trade's going to make a huge
certainly
difference.
helps. Yeah, no doubt about it. Thursday night, we go to Australia, home of the NFL, for the 49ers and Rams. An unbelievable matchup. 49ers-Rams, two of the best teams in the NFL, squaring off in an important NFC West battle. Hacker, who do you have?
Yeah, who knows how the travel is going to affect them. We've never had a regular season game in Australia. I just look at what the Rams did this offseason. They probably won the offseason with Myles Garrett and those two corners, right? Watson and McDuffie. People forget about them. So give me the Rams.
Yeah, Super Bowl favorite for me, L.A.
All right. Let's get it to Sunday, the 1 o'clock window for week 1, which is extraordinary. We're going to start with Chicago at Carolina. Who do you like?
Boy, two division winners from last year. It's easy to say Chicago, but opening day in Carolina, they got Devin Lloyd now making it happen, right? They got Jalen Phillips for about $1 billion. I might go off the beaten path here, but I'm going to take Carolina to win that game.
There always is like odd week 1 results that you look back halfway through the season, you're like, how the hell did that happen? So, yeah, I could see. I think, though, I got to go with Chicago on that one if I had to pick.
But I kind of like where, Hacker, you're going, and JJ, I sort of feel the same way. There's always some unpredictability to week 1. I'll say the Carolina Panthers hold off the Bears at home. Tampa Bay at Cincinnati.
Weird Tampa Bay team. No Mike Evans, no Levante David. Cincinnati's healthy. That'll be Dexter Lawrence's debut for the Bengals at home. Give me Cincinnati.
Yeah, Burrow, I guess this will be one of his 3 games he plays this year, so I'll go with Cincinnati at home.
Cincinnati.
I'm getting bad vibes from Tampa Bay this year.
Yeah, all right. So the Bucks start the year 0-1. Let's go to Detroit. The Lions hosting the New Orleans Saints.
Lions did not make the playoffs last year. Amazingly enough, I think they will get back in the playoffs this year. ETN's debut for the Saints, I think it's going to be a loss, though. Give me Detroit.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Tyler Shuck believer, so I think they lose.
Okay. All right. So Detroit starts its season off with a win. This is probably the best game of the Sunday 1 o'clock window. The Buffalo Bills travel to the Houston Texans.
Crazy that it's a 1 o'clock game on Sunday.
All 3 of those have been good.
Yeah, Buffalo and Houston. I mean, good grief. I mean, I hate to do it, but I'm probably going to take the Texans. They're at home. That defense is absolutely phenomenal. Buffalo has been known to maybe slow start a little bit in the month of September before they rev it up as the season goes on. So because the game is in Houston, I'll take the Texans.
I'm just so down on C.J. Stroud, so I'm going to go with Josh Allen and the Bills.
I'm going to go with Josh Allen as well. Plus, it's the first time we've picked a road team. Not that that really matters, but just for the sake of it, I'll say a road team gets a win here in week 1. Bills over Texans. Baltimore at Indianapolis.
I think the Colts offseason has been horrible. We'll see about Baltimore and their new head coach, but they have Lamar Jackson and they have Derrick Henry in the Colts defense. I wonder how they're going to be without Zaire Franklin and a couple of those other guys they've had there. Kenny Moore's another one. So give me Baltimore.
I agree. Honestly, I don't even know who the quarterback is at Indianapolis right now.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's hard to expect Daniel Jones to be ready coming off the Achilles.
If he's not ready, that's going to be Anthony Richardson.
Oof. Give me
Good luck.
Give me the Ravens with a +4 turnover margin in that win. Cleveland at Jacksonville.
I mean, the Cleveland Browns are going to have just all the momentum coming in here. 42,000 strong down at Everbank Stadium on opening day. No, look, I mean, I don't know if there's anything like a must win in week 1, but you look at the Jaguars schedule, Cleveland by far and away on paper is the easiest matchup. I don't know any Jaguar fan that's going to pick against Jacksonville. I'm not either. Give me the Jaguars.
Yeah, Liam Cohen with all that time to get ready for one team. That might be a scary result. I like the Jags to cover. I don't even know what the line is.
You think that's Deshaun Watson for Cleveland in week 1?
It seems like that's where he's headed. Yeah. So I like the Jags as well. Atlanta at Pittsburgh.
Boy, that's an interesting one. Again, I like what JJ said earlier. Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta. I think he got a raw deal in Cleveland, so I like the hire. But Pittsburgh at home, McCarthy's debut. They got a really nice 1-2 combo now with DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman Jr. I'll take the Steelers.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Atlanta just to see what Hayes picks.
I'll take the Steelers.
Okay.
So, let's go to now. This is the game that everybody's going to be watching. This might be the Arch Manning Bowl in Week 1. The Jets at the Titans.
The two teams are terrible. Now, I will say Tennessee, I think it's going to be better, but that's relative because they went 3-14 last year. The Titans spent $1 billion in free agency. If you can't win on opening day against the New York Jets, give me a break. I'll take Tennessee.
Yeah, I think Cam Ward started to look a little bit better the last handful of games of the season. I'll go with the Titans. I will never pick the Jets basically in any matchup.
Let's move to the Sunday 4:30 window. We start with Arizona at the LA Chargers.
Arizona's a good team. They're just in a brutal division. They're going to have a rough year this year. I like LA. Herbert, a lot of pressure on him this year, but I think he gets off to a good start. He'll go 1-0.
Yeah, and is it going to be like Beck or Minshew for Arizona?
Jacoby Brissett.
So, yeah, I think they lose that one.
It's a very Jacksonville-centric quarterback room.
It really is
Former
incredible,
Gator
yeah.
Jacoby Brissett, former Jaguar Gardner Minshew, and former Mandarin Mustang Carson Beck.
This will be the most coming up this season that we've talked about the Arizona Cardinals ever.
We got my guy Dewey Wingard there in the secondary.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it starts there.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
It starts and ends there.
I mean, Sean McVay just thought he had a nice career, until Wingard showed up in his division.
Love Wingard.
Yeah.
Even though he blew
we
me
have
off.
no answers for him, Kyle Shanahan
I'm retiring. I'm going to TV, said McVay.
Big Andrew Wingard fan until he didn't let me do an interview in the locker room with him that one time last year, and that bothered me immensely.
This is another one of the games that if you're going to have a great Week 1 slate, that means you got to have some dogs.
Yeah.
Miami at Las Vegas.
Boy, that's an awful game. The Kirk Cousins debut, I think he's going to start over Mendoza. Give me the Raiders.
Yeah, I agree with that. If it was Mendoza, I'd probably go the opposite way, but I'll go with the vet.
All right, Green Bay at Minnesota.
Boy, O'Connell's on the hot seat from what I hear, and which is quick, too, because he was the talk of the town all that long ago. Boy, that's tough. I'll take Minnesota at home.
Okay.
Why not?
I can't stand J.J. McCarthy. Is he the starter there?
No, it'll be Kyler Murray. It's
Kyler
technically
Murray. I
a
forgot
battle,
about that.
but it'll be Kyler Murray.
And who are they playing?
Green Bay.
I got to go with the Packers.
Me
there.
too. All right, so Green Bay gets a road win there. Washington at Philadelphia.
That's a tough game for Washington out of the gate. Give me Philly.
Yeah, I do think that Washington is going to snap back, from what they were last year. Hayes said it earlier in the show, but I think Philly wins that one.
All right, Philly, let's get it to Sunday Night Football, Week 1, Dallas at the New York Giants.
Well, that's for John Harbaugh's debut, Sunday Night Football, a new-look Giants team, Jackson Dart. I'm kind of drinking the Giants Kool-Aid a little bit. I'm going to take the Giants.
Wow, okay.
I think it's too soon. I think he'll eventually get things going in New York, Harbaugh that is, but not Week 1.
I'm going to take Dallas as well.
Yeah.
So Dallas gets the win over the Giants. And
their offense is just so
That's
good,
the thing.
man.
I mean, the Giants are going to have to score probably 34. And I do like where the Giants are headed. But I'd say for Week 1 with Lamb and Pickens.
Too early.
Yeah, I'd take the Cowboys. Monday Night Football, Denver at Kansas City.
Question about this is Mahomes going to be there?
We think he is.
Yeah,
because otherwise I don't think they would have scheduled the Chiefs for Monday Night Football.
I agree. And if Mahomes is there, boy, that complicates things a little bit. Boy, that's a tough game on Monday Night Football. I'll take Kansas City with Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm never going to pick against Pat Mahomes.
All right, Kansas City, 1-0 start, takes down the Denver Broncos, last year's 1 seed in the AFC. That was a lot of fun. Again, we'll do it tomorrow with Week 2, and it's going to be fun to see where we're at after when we get to the end of the week, and we've done this for Week 4. I'm telling you, the Week 1's phenomenal. These other Weeks 2, 3, and 4, I mean, it is a front-loaded schedule of heavyweights.
We need that because have you sorry to cut you off, but have you seen the college football Week 1?
Oh, it's brutal.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's bad. And because but with the SEC adding a 9th game, a lot of teams didn't want to do very much at the beginning of the year. The thing with Week 1 in the NFL, boy, a lot of division games. I don't know if every year it's the same way, but you're rattling off, Giants, Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles. You got all these division games. Rams, 49ers. I mean, right out of the gate.
Yeah, it's going to be sensational. It'll be here before we know it, and it'll be certainly a lot of fun. When we come back on the Frangie Show, John Sumrall has done it again. Hacker will fill us in on the details. You're listening to 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
One of Beard's Diamond's most popular events ever is back. It's Christmas in July. Right now, for a limited time, you get as much as 40% off anything in our showcases. Yes, that includes engagement rings, fashion rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, colored gemstones. This is the annual store-wide sale that everyone loves, because you get December prices in July. Up to 40% off store-wide. Don't miss Christmas in July. Exclusively at Beard's Diamond at the St. John's Town Center and online at beardsdiamonds.com. Shop local. Shop Beards.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell and Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell and Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell and Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hi, I'm Blake Bortles. People know I've always said if I wasn't playing football, I'd probably be on a construction site. So Next Gen Roofing finally let me live the dream.
Blake, why are you wearing a red practice jersey?
Always worn it for safety.
Right. Well, around here, the red jersey means you're the new guy, so you're in charge of garbage cleanup.
Perfect. I love garbage time. Always excelled in it.
It's not exactly what I meant.
Good thing Next Gen Roofing has real pros handling everything from family homes to large commercial buildings. Next Gen, teamed up with you.
Teamed up with you. Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
When the world turns its attention to the beautiful game, the most passionate fans know the best seat in the house isn't always in the stadium. Modelo celebrates football and the world of nations playing for the cup. 48 teams, 104 games. Wherever you choose to watch, make it the best seat in the house with a Modelo Especial in hand. It's time to play for the World Cup.
Celebrate America's birthday with Kuhn Flowers in July. JJ LaSelva here. Purchase a dozen roses in any color for just $49.95. Just $49.95 for a dozen roses. Log on to KuhnFlowers.com.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey for DraftKings, which is now live in all 50 states. Of course, that means you, Florida, win or go home. That's it. That's the World Cup knockout round. And DraftKings has you covered for every single match. The DraftKings app is now live in Florida, so whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or maybe the late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app. Right here in Florida, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up with code 1010XL, spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards over 21 days. That's code 1010XL in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click to claim, issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends July 19th. Terms dkng.co/predictions promo.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monaghan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
The golden moment today is our conversation projecting the next stars in football for the upcoming season. I threw out Dallas Wilson, the Florida receiver. We had a great conversation about the Jaguars. Hacker, you mentioned Parker Washington. JJ mentioned Brenton Strange. I threw out Bashal Tootin, and we didn't even really get to Travis Hunter. But a fun conversation there. Again, we're close to football season, and it'll be so much fun to see the new wave of stars that step up and become household names during this upcoming year. John Summerall has done it again. Hacker, tell us all about it. Another commitment for the Florida Gators.
Yeah, we just talked about this yesterday, and now we get another one, the 26th commitment for the Florida Gators in their class of 2027. Raheem Floyd is a 6 foot, almost 6'1", 6 foot and change, 180-pound defensive back from East St. Louis, Illinois. He is in the class of 2027. 247.com has him as the number 20 cornerback in America. He's a top 10 player in Illinois. He chose the Gators over Missouri, Ole Miss, Arizona State, Cincinnati were also in the mix as well. But again, commitment number 26 for John Summerall. I talked to some people in Gainesville that cover recruiting. They thought anywhere between 25 and 28 was going to be the number for Florida in the class of 2027. And again, will they lose a couple of these guys? Perhaps. But in the land of NIL, when you have a handshake agreement now in the land of NIL, you tend not to lose as many commitments as you maybe did 5 or 10 years ago. So I would imagine 90% of these guys that are already committed are going to be signed in December. So which means an overwhelming amount of the hay is in the barn for John Summerall and the Gators in the class of 2027.
And the thing that I really like about their position is now you can really pinpoint the guys you want to try and flip, you know, and really have your, you know, with your basic 95% of your class is done. So now, yeah, you'll lose a couple guys probably. I mean, assuming they don't like go 4-8, but as long as they have a solid year, I'm with you. A lot of this class will stay together, but you really now have the opportunity to go out there and look at those 5 stars that, you know, we know that there's a defensive tackle, there's a receiver out there that Summerall hasn't given up on. So it'll be really interesting to see how that all shakes out. When we come back on the Frangie Show, we will wrap it up. But before we hand it off to Rick Ballou, we're going to tell you about something that occurred 30 years ago that shook our core. That is next. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The month of July filled with college football media days. The Big 12 will be holding theirs this week in Arlington, Texas. The Ohio State Buckeyes, the early betting favorite to win this year's national championship. They are at plus 550, while the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are plus 700. Texas Longhorns plus 750, the best bet out of the SEC. Oregon is plus 800, Georgia plus 850, and Indiana, the defending national champions, but without quarterback Fernando Mendoza, are also plus 850 to win the national championship. Notre Dame quarterback C.J. Carr is the betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy at plus 750. Arch Manning of Texas plus 800.
Progressive helping veterans drive their lives forward. More info, keysofprogress.com.
I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
I've owned a home long enough to know one thing. The little problems you ignore almost always become the expensive ones. That small plumbing leak, the septic tank you've been meaning to pump, the air conditioner that's making a funny noise. July is the perfect time to take care of it. So right now, save $250 on a whole home repipe or redrain, $50 on any septic service, and $500 on a new AC system from Duck Duck Rooter. Honest service, upfront pricing, no surprises. When you're stuck, call Duck Duck Rooter, 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Celebrate the month of July with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 and take $75 off air duct cleaning as well. Hickett here. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com. Take advantage of the savings.
Frank Frangie here. I've been telling you about Stanley Pools for years. But you know my favorite thing about this family-owned company? They take such good care of my pool. All I have to do is relax and enjoy it. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and their weekly maintenance makes owning a pool effortless. You can trust Stanley Pools to build your pool or upgrade it. They've done both for me. Call 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
1010XL is a proud supporter of the Alive Credit Union Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament, July 9th through 18th. Fish for fun and prizes and support Jacksonville Marine Charities. Learn more at kingfishtournament.com.
I've spent 20 plus years around scoreboards, and here's what they don't tell you. Every number up there is somebody's story. So when I heard a number last week, I had to sit with it. Hacker here, Paige from Awaken 180, told me their clients just lost 1 million pounds. 1 million. That stopped me cold because I know exactly what my 120 was worth. Moving better, feeling better, down from over 300. Now multiply that feeling. My 120 is stacked in there with somebody's first 10. Somebody's knee that finally quit barking. Somebody stepping on a scale this morning and pumping their fist in an empty bathroom thanks to Awaken 180. That's not a stat. That's a whole stadium's worth of hometown wins. The scoreboard's still running. A doable program, a plan built specifically for you, coaching that adjusts as you go, and free support for life. 1 million pounds down and counting. The next win should be yours. Awaken 180weightloss.com.
Joe C here. Want to win pizza from Tony D's, wings from Mr. Chubby's, or tacos from Taco Lou? How about chocolate from Peterbrook? All you have to do is tell us more about you by filling out the 1010 listener survey at 1010XL.com. What kind of vehicle do you drive? Are you a business owner? What part of 1010XL do you like the most? We want to get to know you better so we can serve you better. Go to 1010XL.com, fill out the survey, and you could be a winner.
Hey, gang, Prosser here again for my friends Chad and Sandy at Chad and Sandy Realty. To maximize price on your home, you need more than a sign in the yard. You need a proven expert with an aggressive marketing plan. That's why more homeowners are turning to Chad and Sandy Realty. Chad and Sandy's Market Max system is a proven plan. It's going to get your home sold fast for maximum price. Need to sell now? Chad and Sandy have instant offers. Fast, easy, stress-free. But this is bottom line. Using their proprietary Market Max system, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required repairs, pick your move date, no long-term contracts. Just listen to Eric and Jason, brothers in Villa San Jose. After losing our parents, my brother and I were left with a family home to sell. After 196 days on the market with another agent, it just sat there. We heard Chad and Sandy on the radio, gave them a call, got full asking price less than 27 days. So call the local agents who guarantee to sell your homes. Call Chad and Sandy today at 414-6200 or chadandsandy.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Nimnik Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941.
30 years ago today, Bash at the Beach, a young Hacker was in attendance.
Yeah.
A young JJ was in attendance. Hulk Hogan turns heel.
No!
Biggest moment in pro wrestling history. Now, I was 12 years old, so I've got to preface it by saying I was 12 years old. But when I was in there, and I had upper deck seats, right? What is that thing called? The Ocean Center?
The Ocean Center.
I was
still there.
JJ, you said you were high up there, too. We had to be near each other.
I had to use my dad's friend's binoculars.
Yeah, I was much closer to the roof than I was the ring. But being in there, I didn't appreciate it at that moment. But 30 years later, arguably the biggest moment in pro wrestling when Hulk Hogan went to the dark side and turned heel. You know, people always talk about the debris being thrown in the ring and all that, which was true. Leaving that arena, there were some people that were not happy.
How did that whole thing work out? Like, so, okay, so the show, if you don't know, so the show ends and Hogan's turned heel. He's turned on Savage and he's joined Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
And people,
and they do like an interview in the ring with Mean Gene. So for him to explain, that his, what he's doing, and the fans are just pelting him. But so the show obviously ends there.
Yeah.
So where did the wrestlers go after that?
I mean, to my memory, it's been 30 years, but to my memory, the cameraman left and you could tell that the pay-per-view was over. And then Hogan, Hall, and Nash, they got like some security and they didn't go like back through the curtain. They went down like on the floor where I guess there was another door to the back. They didn't want to make it look like they were just going back where all the other wrestlers were. But I just remember like grown men just absolutely fuming leaving the Ocean Center in Daytona. It was one of the crazier scenes you've ever seen.
It was like a Sunday afternoon or something.
Sunday
like
evening,
that.
yeah.
Sunday evening.
Yeah.
JJ, you had the card pulled up. Some of these matches.
It's crazy that I remembered a lot of this, but yeah, my favorite match in particular was a tag team match between the Nasty Boys and Public Enemy, and there was a double dog collar match. So I had to remember this as they were all chained together. And then, like, they had, like, these big lifeguard stands, Bash at the Beach. And they're climbing on top of that, falling. My boy Rey Mysterio Jr., and unfortunately, I don't remember this match, but I know that young 6-year-old JJ must have been upset when he saw Diamond Dallas Page, one of his least favorite wrestlers, beat Jim Hacksaw Duggan. Jim Duggan, who is, of course, American hero.
And you were saying,
I loved him.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were saying Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero on this card.
Eddie Guerrero. We had the Giant, of course, who is not, like the Big Show is what most people know him as. One more. Let's see. Do you guys know who of course, the Steiner brothers were there. Harlem Heat.
Harlem Heat, Booker T.
I loved Harlem
Stevie
Heat,
Ray.
man. This was a great show.
Oh, absolutely.
I might have to watch it tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. 30 years ago tonight, Hulk Hogan turned heel and joined the Outsiders, forming NWO. Let's now do this.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Rick Ballou joining us now. Rick, who's your favorite heel of all time in wrestling?
Magnificent Morocco.
Why? What? I never got a chance to see him. What made him so special?
I loved his spiel. He was, a beach bum, and he kind of played the role. He didn't have a great wrestling body, but during his time with Captain Lou Albano, I thought those two on the mic were A+. And, later on, there were better guys on the mic, Jesse Ventura, Hulk, The Rock, Randy Savage, but I just always liked the bad guys, and I love the Magnificent Morocco. To me, he was absolutely spectacular. I remember when he beat Pedro Morales for the Intercontinental Championship, everyone was going crazy. I loved it, and then Snuka ended up taking it away from, I think Snuka took it away. It might have been Ricky Steamboat. I'll have to remember, but I saw one in the Garden. It wasn't the infamous when Snuka jumped off the top of the cage. That was at the Madison Square Garden.
That was on Morocco.
Right,
yeah,
right. But this at the Boston Garden, he missed him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he rolled out of the ring.
Wow.
And the place went absolutely just crazy.
Yeah.
When that took place. And they might have done that a couple of times, but I just always loved Don Morocco.
Do you remember the Hogan heel turn?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bash of the Beach?
Yeah.
Maybe the greatest moment in the history of wrestling.
30 years
I would
ago
vote
today.
it one
Yeah.
in terms of, seeing...
the only other conversation would be like when Hulk body slammed Andre.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania
that wasn't
They have been slammed many times before.
Right.
They wrestling
Right.
lies. They're like a politician.
Right.
But he had been slammed so many times. But that was pretty cool in Detroit. But nothing compares to Bash at the Beach. They were grown ass men crying.
Yeah, and they were mad too. I'll give you one more just to go down memory lane. Back when I actually went to WrestleMania, and me and my buddies went to WrestleMania a bunch in my 20s. Was it WrestleMania 30 when Brock beat Undertaker to end the streak in New Orleans?
Yeah.
You could have heard a pin drop in the Superdome when that happened. That's also probably in the conversation.
What about when they went off script with when Hart was leaving to the WCW.
Montreal screw job.
Oh, the Montreal screw job.
Yeah. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I just
we were we did
old school wrestling.
We did talk a little bit of football today. I'll ask you, Jaguar that you think's going to have a huge year.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr. Love it. What's coming up on End of the Night?
I think I'll continue with some of these wrestling stories.
Hey, we'll just stay here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not leaving.
No, we got a lot of good things cooked up. Ryan O'Halloran at 6:36. Got a couple of things that Jaguars related as well that I want to get into, and also around the league. A topic that I think our listeners will be very interested in. So I'm fired up for tonight's show.
All right, O'Halloran's a big wrestling guy, so you can tee him up on that as well. All right, that's going to do it for us. Hacker, thank you so much again. What's coming up on Hacker After Dark?
Yeah, Phil Steele.
All right.
Of the Phil Steele preseason college football magazine. He will join me at 8:15 tonight.
All right, fantastic. Good seeing you.
Thanks,
Look forward
buddy.
to seeing you tomorrow. For JJ, for Hacker, for the vacationing Frank Frangie, I am Hayes Carline. Into the night with Rick Ballou. Up next on 1010XL 92.5 FM.